Welcome to Moose Plays, everyone. I'm the Liquor Moose, and today we will be going over my Week 5 battle for the second season of the UPA D-League. This week we will be going up against Clyde, coach of the Inglewood Infernape, and yeah, like I said in my team builder, this is probably as important, in my opinion, as a Week 5 game can get, as both of us are 3-1, and in a 12-man league, being 4-1 is much better than being 3-2, just because there's like a lot less breathing room behind you, I guess, because basically the playoff cutoff is like less. I don't know the exact records of the teams, but I think there's potential for quite a few teams to be 3-2 after this week. I might be wrong, I'm not entirely sure, but yeah. Anyways, looking at the team matchup. So if you want to know more about why I brought the things that I did upload a team builder, and I will link it in the description below. But for just a quick overview, we have a sub-toxic Baton Pass Thunderbolt Jolteon. We have a standard physically defensive Wish Passing Alamamala. We have Swords Dance Mega Gallade. We have a Colbur Berry physically defensive Celebi. We have a modest specially attacking with Taunt Magmortar, or holding Shukaberry as well, and then we have a utility defogging plus Flynium Z Tornadus. So looking at what Clyde brought to the table, he brought the Dusk Noir, the Zeraora, the Celesteela, the Toxapex, the Mega Charizard X, and the Espeon. I don't know. The thing with Clyde's team was that there was a lot of just fat stuff that could have been used to like soft check any of my stuff, really. So while in a mock I did see Tangrowth over Toxapex, which is kind of what I anticipated, to be completely honest, I do kind of see the merit for bringing Toxapex. As well, like Zeraora, Celesteela, Zardex, I kind of knew was going to come. Espeon, I thought I had a pretty good matchup against, me, sorry. And I'll be honest, I didn't really expect the Dusk Noir at all. But yeah, so looking at the lead matchups, barring like the Zeraora, which I can just directly switch into my Celebi if he leads it, I think my Jolteon actually has a really decent matchup in the lead, as I can just switch out on anything else, pretty much like just the Zardex if he leads with that. But yeah, I'm just going to take the opportunity to lead with my Jolteon, as we see that Clyde does lead with his Mega Charizard X. And seeing that, like, I clicked the Baton Pass here, expecting him either to switch out or to Mega Evolve, and yeah, I don't know, like, in case, I didn't really see a reason for him to switch out, but just in case he did, I just Baton Pass to try to get momentum instead of just hard switching into Aloe. It doesn't really matter. This is my dedicated check to the Charizard anyways. I'm not going to fire off a Toxic just yet, as I think Espeon is a pretty likely switch into here, so I'm just going to fire off a Wish. I'm going to go into my Torn to scout the damage on the Espeon, as he cannot OHKO me even with Specs, as he goes for the Psychic, and he crits me, and I live on 1%. I was like, oh my god, I almost lost Torn, but luckily, with the huge HP stat that Alamamala has, my Torn is able to recover a lot of health back. To the point where, since we did see Life Orb, I know for a fact that his Espeon cannot KO me at this range. So I'm just going to go for a very safe knockoff, as he does decide to go into his Toxapex, and I knock off that thing Shukaberry instead of Black Sludge. So he was definitely expecting my Diggersby, which makes sense, as Diggersby is another fat abuser. So I'm going to just U-turn out into my Jolteon, as I did figure the Scald was incoming, and I could have just switched into my Celebi and to resist the hit, and then if I got burned I can natural cure it out later, but I still wanted to keep it relatively healthy, just in case, like, for Zeraora, because that was like the main thing I needed Celebi for. And barring the burn here, like, barring Scald burns, Jolteon was a relatively free switch into Toxapex. So yeah, I'm just gonna go for, it's unfortunate that he got the burn, but I mean, I do have leftovers to mitigate that, as I believe I go for the substitute here. Yes, I go for the substitute here, just to kind of scout what this Toxapex wanted to do in front of me. As I can see the Charizard switching in, so seeing that I'm safe behind the substitute, I'm going to fire up a Toxic, try to get this Charizard on a timer, and unfortunately I missed the Toxic, and he breaks my substitute with Dragon Claw, which is really unfortunate. However, Clyde is an extremely nice person and said he would click Roots if I click Toxic again. So thank you very much, Clyde. That hacks was unfortunate, and yeah, again, like we said, nothing really happened because he was already at full health anyways, and with the leftovers, I'm not even getting residual with the burn. So everything realistically is as should be, so we're all safe and fine. So seeing this, I am once again just going to baton pass out into my Aloe. Again, not a real reason for Clyde to switch out, but just in case he does try to predict me going into something else, I can try to grab momentum just in case, but he does stay in. So I do just go into my Aloe Mamala here, which again is my dedicated switch, and I believe here I do fire off another wish, as again, I don't want to, obviously there's no reason to click Toxic in front of the Zardex anymore, but yeah, I'm just going to fire off a wish. Now, since with Regenerator, my Torn is back up to full health, it is by far the thing that I don't mind taking damage on the most, especially when Wish is just going to recover it back to full. So, Knockoff or U-Turn does a lot of damage to the Espeon, but seeing that I already clicked Knockoff, I do anticipate him switching right into the Toxapex, so I do click the U-Turn button right away. Spoilers, this beginning part of the match is going to take a bit for a Mon to drop. It's just the way things happened. I do go for the Substitute once again to try to scout what this Toxapex wants to do, as he sets up the Toxic Spikes here. And yeah, at this point, I was really looking into baton passing a sub up and trying to get a free switch into something, particularly if it's not pretty obvious by the situation I've laid out, particularly trying to get my Gallade in for free. So I do a bit of research and I find a website. Basically, I'm trying to figure out if I baton pass this substitute, if my Gallade will get poisoned. I found a site, I don't remember what it was, that said that it would not get poisoned. But as we see here, I do baton pass into my Gallade, which was pretty free. I know the Scald cannot break my sub, but I do still get poisoned, which is unfortunate. However, I did see in a mock, I would much prefer poison over a burn to mitigate the attack, or over a paralysis in case, had his Tangrowth come. But yeah, I'm just going to go for the Swords Dance. It seems pretty free in my opinion, so I go for the Swords Dance, and now I basically 2-hit KO something. So I'm just going to go for the Zen Headbutt here, as it just does a massive chunk to the Dusknoir, and then Clyde proceeds to just blow me out of the water with Z Haze, and yeah, I had no idea what that did, pretty much until that point in the battle. Yeah, I had no idea what what Dusknoir being a Z user was gonna do just in general. Like when I saw he made Dusknoir a Z user and still had the points to make Rotom Frost a Z user, I was questioning that choice, and yeah. That choice that he made completely blew me out of the water. I don't want to say this Gallade is useless, but it's useless in this situation now for sure, because I don't want it to take any more poison damage, and I can't OHKO this, with anything. So that was really, really good prep on Clyde's part, and I applaud him for that. That was really good. I don't know if it was obvious to anyone else, but. I don't know. I guess comment down below if you think I'm an idiot and just completely ignored the obvious Z Haze from Dusknoir, because I didn't expect. I kind of expected Haze from Toxapex if he brought it, but I don't know. Either way, I'm just gonna switch out here because my oh god, I can't think. My Gallade at this point isn't really I can't kill this, so it's not really gonna be doing much. As Clyde here does go for the Nightshade, I want to take this opportunity to defog this Toxic Spikes out of the way, as they are being very, very annoying. As he does go for the Will-O-Wisp, isn't that big of a deal. I'm minus attack nature anyways. The only thing that it would really matter for is potentially KOing an Espeon. I'm just going to U-turn out, I believe, into, yes, my this thing, Aloe Mamala, as I don't mind that thing getting burned, since again I have Regenerator and I don't have physical investment. I go for the Scald to try to catch the burn on the Dusknoir, but he does switch in the Espeon, and I catch the burn on that, which is nice. This attack does show that he is just backs offensive, not much in bulk invested. But yeah, so with Life Orb hits and the burn, it's actually gonna wear down this Espeon quite quickly, as I do protect to get a little more burn damage off, and I do fire off a Wish here. He does get a big Psychic off, but I can Regenerator that back. As we do see here, I believe I go into my Tornadus, as I was actually anticipating on his Protect to try to get one of his offensive Mons in, as he does here just go for the Charizard, and obviously the Wish doesn't really do a whole lot, but still I am able to get my Tornadus in onto the Charizard as I go for the Hurricane, and I confuse him which is unfortunate because then he hits himself in confusion and then dies to Toxic after that. So, yeah, I guess I'll let it play out. Yeah, that was really unfortunate. Like, I mean, there's not even a way to pay back that hacks like there was with the Toxic miss against his Charizard. So yeah, that Charizard, I don't know. It's really shitty luck for Clyde's part. I mean, it's good for me, obviously. Yeah, I don't know. There's not much I can do about it, and there's not much either of us could have done about it, so we unfortunately just have to continue on. I would have liked to try to pay back the hacks that he gave me back, but in this situation I can't really. I don't really know what he went for. I'm pretty sure I have physical investment and I was at 94%, so I think the only thing that would have KO'd me unboosted would have been oh goodness, I can't think. It would have been Flare Blitz, I think, on a high roll. And then if he Dragon Danced, then I probably would have just switched into my Alamamala anyways. But yeah, so anyways, moving on to the game, he takes this opportunity to go into Zeraora. I'm not messing around with this thing. I've switched right into my check, which is my Celebi, and he does go for the bulk up, so kind of like I predicted, as that thing was a huge threat to my team. So he does fire off the knockup. I go for the Giga Drain to get just about as much health off of him, and I do get some recovery back. And from this damage, I go for the recover here to recover up and kind of scout. And yeah, this damage reveals that he is plus attack nature. I figured he would be like, I figured it would be more likely that he was, I guess if he's mostly physical, it won't really matter. I figured a more likely scenario would have been plus speed with minus in one of the defenses, and then he would just be mixed. But yeah, bulk up was a huge threat to my team anyways. I do believe I just fire off another Giga Drain here as Clyde takes this opportunity to basically get Celesteela in for free, which I don't really blame him for doing. So knowing that I just get walled by Celesteela, I am going to U-turn out into kind of my lure, which is my Magmortar, as we see here that Clyde goes for the Flamethrower, and that does nothing. That damage tells me he is not special attack invested. He has leftovers, so I am pretty much anticipating him being like a pretty standard tank Celesteela set with like mixed defenses, maybe a bit in physical attack, as we can see. Like we haven't seen any physical attacks yet, but so far it's looking like a pretty standard defensive Celesteela, which I guess I get because I do have a Diggersby on my team. But yeah, so I go for the Fire Blast to try to hit it in case he went for the Earthquake. I get a crit here, which doesn't really matter since overall the damage does less than Regenerator can heal back on the Toxapex. However, this damage does tell me, and I guess I should have known from, I don't remember if I've hit Hurricane yet. But yeah, this Fire Blast damage definitely tells me that he is max Spadef. So he is, I guess that's the standard one to run on the ladder anyways. As we do see here, he goes for the Recover, probably scouting for my Thunderbolt. But at this point, I guess I can bluff that I'm choiced. But yeah, I just fire off the Hurricane to see what this Toxapex wants to do, as he does just go for the Scald. I believe I U-turn out here to kind of preserve health on my Tornadus, as it's being a huge nuisance to him. So yeah, I believe in here, yeah, I go into my Jolteon to try to pressure this out, as he does go for the layer of Toxic Spikes, which is pretty huge. I am, once again, just going to go for my Substitute to try to scout and get like free switches in on stuff. He does elect to stay in, and he does fire off the Scald, probably trying to kill me, but like I said in the Team Builder, I have enough investment to guaranteed live a Scald with my sub. So I'm just going to fire off a Thunderbolt, get a bunch of damage on this Toxapex, as he's going to fire off another Scald to break my sub. And here, there's no way he's letting this Toxapex go down. It's a pretty big nuisance to my team, so I'm definitely anticipating him trying to get a free switch into Zeraora. So I'm just going to fire off the Toxic, as we do get that prediction right. And now the Zeraora is on a timer, which makes my Celebi a lot less pressured by it. Jolteon, it's pretty much done its job. It's at 7%. It's not really doing much, and I don't want anything else getting knocked off, so I'm just going to let it go down. As we do see here, the Zeraora is at 47%, and here is unfortunately where I pretty much make a play that, it's not this specific play, but it leads to a series of plays that kind of breaks apart my team. So I don't know why I didn't just U-turn. Like, okay, I knew, like, in my head, I go, okay, I should defog this Toxic Spike away, because it's going to get really annoying. With that in mind, I don't want to switch into Tornadus directly, obviously, because Zeraora outspeeds it and can more than likely kill it with Plasma Fist. So, I'm going to switch into my dedicated check, which is my Celebi, and on the predicted Celesteela switch, I could U-turn and then defog them away. At the same time, and obviously Celebi getting poisoned. Celebi getting poisoned is no big deal because it has natural cure. So when it switches out, the poison will like go away. At the same time, with that thought, I figured I need to get some rocks up because him just getting free switches into his bulky stuff is getting annoying. So I want to try to punish him at least a little bit for that. Not thinking, for whatever reason, that I still need to defog the damn toxic spike away. And I just set up my rock and I go, oh shit, I have to defog these spikes away. Why did I set up rocks? So yeah, I'm going to U-turn into my Tornadus to do just that. And it wasn't until I got into my Tornadus that I said, oh shit, why did I set up my rocks if I'm just going to defog? So literally, next up, the only thought I put into this next play was, I don't want to look like an idiot in front of people watching, so I'm not going to defog my own rocks away. So I just U-turn here instead of defogging because I didn't want to make myself look like an idiot. And I switch into Magmortar, and that is really bad. Not because it takes the Heavy Slam, as it takes it relatively well, but the fact that it got poisoned and I don't have a Heal Beller. And now it's going to take 11% or 12% every turn. And yeah, that's really bad for my Magmortar, because Magmortar, with Jolteon gone, Magmortar is the only way I beat Celesteela, really. Barring +2 Gallade, if he's the right set, if Celesteela is the right set. But yeah, so Magmortar being poisoned here is really not good. So I fire off the Thunderbolt here, predicting his Toxapex trying to come in. It was relatively no drawback, even if Celesteela stayed in. It was a roll to a KO. But yeah, I'm just going to switch out into my Tornadus, and now I decide to defog because I'm an idiot and didn't do it before. I'll get to that after the match. But yeah, anyways, I defog, and the rocks go away, and the Toxic Spike goes away, which is good. I know he couldn't kill me from here because of my physical investment, and here Z Hurricane is a guaranteed kill on this Dusknoir, so I'm just going to go for it. Realistically, it's probably the thing that that Clyde can afford to lose anyways, as I do believe here Clyde just goes into his Zeraora, which is pretty obvious. I believe I hard switch into my Celebi as my check, but Clyde makes a double into his Espeon, more than likely showing that his Espeon does have Shadow Ball, so I'm just going to switch back into my Alolan Luvdisc, my Alamamula, with Charizard gone. It's by far the most expendable member of my team, so I'm just going to go for that. And here Clyde makes a good play. I want to get a little more burn damage on this, so I try to protect. As we can see, the Spadef drop didn't matter because it was a 2-hit KO anyways. I try to protect to try to get more burn damage on, or get Espeon in range of Life Orb. And Clyde makes a good play and goes for the Morning Sun. A little unfortunate, but either way, he does. Again, I fire off a Wish just in case he doesn't attack here, but he just attacks what's in front of him, which is perfectly fine. As my Alomamala goes down, and here I go into my Tornadus once again because it's the thing that can outspeed this and potentially kill it with a knockoff, but I believe I just go for... Oh no, I go for the Hurricane because, right, the Hurricane was also a guaranteed kill from there. As we do see here, Clyde switches into his Toxapex. He tries to... Well, he pulls a double, not tries to. I click on the U-turn button because I can kind of see what he's trying to do and keep his Toxapex for very healthy. I go into Magmortar, and yeah, this is the point. This is the point where it kind of all goes wrong. So I do click Thunderbolt in case he does switch into Toxapex. I calc it. Fire Blast is a guaranteed kill on this, even when he's max Spadef. So I go for the Fire Blast, and we connect, and down goes the Toxapex. But as you can see here, my Magmortar goes down. And yeah, if I didn't... All this comes down to, if I just had fucking defogged with my Tornadus, then I would still have a Magmortar at, I believe, 59% health or something. Relatively healthy. Healthy enough that I could still check the Celesteela with my Shuca Berry should he carry Earthquake. So, yeah, I was very mad after that. Not at Clyde, obviously. Clyde is playing very well right now, but I was just mad at myself, which when I get mad at myself because I make plays like that, that just it feels way worse to me than losing by hacks, by far. And yeah, I'll get more into that later. But yeah, it's a 50, not really a 50-50, but it's a double down situation, and seeing what Clyde has left, Zeraora is the thing that outspeeds everything, so I predict him more so to go into Zeraora than anything else, so I go into my check to it, which is Celebi. As we do see, he does go into it, but he does switch out into Celesteela, which is really what he needed to do. As yeah, I'm just going to U-turn into my Tornadus. And I knock off the leftovers because the leftovers on this is being really annoying. So I do knock off. Does nothing, but again, just no residual on it is fine. As he goes for the heavy slam and he crits me, which is a little unfortunate, but not the end of the world, even if I do go down to burn. Because all I was going to do here, had he not got the crit, all I was going to do was pretty much just launch a Hurricane. Which the only things that would have mattered then would have been whether I get the confusion again or... yeah, that's pretty much it. If I get the confusion again, and then he hits him, I would just go. Basically, my plan was to spam Hurricane until Torn died because yeah, I'll explain why. But yeah, basically, okay. I guess I don't really need to wait to explain. Espeon, I don't need the Torn for Espeon anymore because Espeon is at a point where, since I know it's offensive and not bulk invested, Espeon is at a point where unboosted Shadow Sneak can kill it, so I don't need the Torn anymore. So my plan was just to spam Hurricane until Torn died, basically. But yeah, so now that we see that, since I didn't get the chance to fire off the Hurricane here, basically, not knowing his investment, assuming he doesn't have any attack EVs, there is basically my only hope of winning was hope he gets a low roll on Heavy Slam, and then I can Swords Dance up, and then potentially, and I guess the only way would be to crit. The only way would be to crit the Celesteela with close combat, and yeah, and then basically hope that my Celebi could 1v1 both the Zeraora and the Espeon. A little bit tough to ask for, but maybe with Recover and Espeon wearing itself down with Life Orb, it could happen. But yeah, so basically that's like my only way I can possibly win. So I go for the Swords Dance, and we do see here that Clyde does land the Heavy Slam and does enough damage for Poison to kill me, which is really unfortunate. And yeah, my Celebi just gets walled by this Celesteela, so yeah, we're going to see the Celesteela pick up the last 3 kills of the game, and yeah, that's going to be it. So, yeah, I mean, I knew that it was over, but I didn't want to forfeit because I'm just not about that life. But yeah, we're going to see Celesteela go for a Flamethrower here, and then we're going to have one more Flamethrower from this Celesteela to finally finish off the game. And unfortunately, that is going to be the 3-0 loss for the Toronto Razor Leafs. GG to Clyde. He played very, very well. But yeah, the big play was definitely just me not defogging with Tornadus. Because if I didn't, or had I defogged, like, there was no point for me to click rocks with my Celebi. Like, past Brandon had a different idea, and again, I just want to punch him in the head. Like, there was no reason to set up rocks. Like, Celesteela was clearly his switch into this, so all I needed to do was U-turn on a Celesteela switch, go into my Tornadus, and then just defog right away. And then all we're left with is when his Toxapex goes down, I still have a 59% health Magmortar that just killed the Toxapex and can still 1v1 the Celesteela. And that is, like, once Magmortar went down, I just kind of lost the Celesteela because I had no checks, like, I had no offensive pressure for it. But yeah, like, I don't know, 3-0 is a lot, like, the score to that, in my opinion, is a lot closer than it actually seemed, just because, like I said, Espeon was at a range where I was guaranteed to OHKO it with Shadow Sneak with Gallade, and even Zeraora was also below 50% because of the Toxic, so I could have easily 1v1'd it with my Celebi with the amount of health that it started at. As we saw, I believe it started at, I think it started at like 94 or something, or maybe like 80 something, I don't remember. But yeah, it was at enough health where I could have easily 1v1'd an unboosted Zeraora. So 3-0 seems bad, but this game was a lot closer than 3-0 suggests. But again, all of it came down to just me fucking up and clicking Stealth Rock, and not necessarily clicking Stealth Rock, that while that was kind of a wasted turn, but me not wanting to look dumb and me not clicking Defog when he still had a Toxic Spike up. Like, even then, all I really needed to do was just go back into Celebi and then Natural Cure it out, and then just defog, even if I didn't want to look like an idiot. But instead, I was a fucking dumbass and let my Magmortar get poisoned, and it just died for basically nothing. Like, the only things Clyde hit it with was one Flamethrower and one Heavy Slam from Celesteela. And, like, it makes me so mad that, like I said, like, once I see the reason that I lost this match was because I made a misplay that I could have very easily just prevented, that feels way worse to me than any loss to hacks. And maybe that's because I come from a background where I play a lot of collectible card games, and luck is part of it based on what you draw and stuff like that. But like, yeah, hacks doesn't really bother me. That's just part of the game. But that, when I mess up, like blatantly mess up, that makes a play, and I make a play that just straight up loses me the game, that's when I get mad at myself. Like, I'm not mad at Clyde at all. Clyde played very, very well and made all the plays he needed to make, but I completely fucked that up by letting my motor get poisoned, and it's totally on me. And yeah, now we're at 3-2, and now I need to play out of my mind, because the next couple of weeks are, in my opinion, some of the hardest in the entire league, as my next 2 weeks consist of Carson and Bird. And the week I have to battle Bird, I'm gonna try. I don't remember who I battle after him, but I'm gonna try to get that battle done in the same week as the battle with Bird, because during whatever that week is, I guess it would be, so week 6 is Carson, week 7 is Bird. So whenever week 8 actually is, I am like gonna be really, really, really busy all that week. So I'm gonna try to get that game in early. And yeah, basically I'm gonna have to like play and build out of my goddamn mind to try to get out of this not big hole, but like it's a relatively small hole that I dug myself into. And yeah, I'm not gonna lie, like lately I have not been really all that impressed with my playing. My building has been alright, but with my playing I have not been impressed. But yeah, so again, I don't want to take anything away from Clyde. Clyde played great. I think he played well, and he definitely deserved to win. Like, that game was like super close, again, more so than 3 hotels. But yeah, anyways, I'm rambling. So yeah, next week we're up against Carson, Golden Centurion, and yeah, he beat us in GPC, so I gotta take revenge on him for that. So yeah, keep your eye out on the channel next week for when the team builder for that one goes live. And thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.